Hello there. Welcome to this first day of our 99-day program. I'm waiting for some more people to join. And it's practically 8:30, so I'm a little early. Guess it's the first time, so. Well, for the first ones who join, welcome. I'll wait a little bit longer until some more people join. Find the right link. Just give it a little time to see if more people want to join live, and I'll start in just a minute. Let me just check if anyone has a question on our Facebook group. Okay. Well, once again, welcome. I'm really excited to get started on this 99-day program. I really, really appreciate it that you all want to join together with me and to go through this journey until the 8th of July. Today will be a kind of introduction, a bit of an overview of topics we might touch upon. It's not that I intend to go through a certain program. It's more giving an overview of what we might expect, and also to give you an idea of what will come, and if there are certain topics you see on that later on when I share you the overview that you want to learn more about, please share in our Facebook group or ask questions about that. I definitely hope this will become interactive in the sense that we will share from both sides our questions and our experiences. I know from my past experience that's very helpful. So just some practical questions. If the sound is too low, please let me know. You can send on the right side, or perhaps on your mobile it's below. You can give a comment. I can see those comments, so you can let you know if you're present or if you can hear me not well or see me not well. So please use that function to chat while we're live. Well, the reason why I call this program Mastering the Art of Living is because, to me, being on this deep investigation for the past 7 years, it came to my experience that it really is about mastering your life. So spirituality, it can be felt in many different ways and can be experienced in many different ways. But for me, it all comes down to, how do you put it into practice daily? How do you transform your life on every level within? And I call that the mastery of living. And for me, it has been a beautiful journey, challenging at times, very deepening, and ultimately very liberating. And that's something I wish to share with you all. And just to make very clear, and I've already said it in the introduction video, but it's only out 1 or 2 hours ago, so you mightn't have seen that video. What I'm about to share is just different perspectives that I came upon across, that I experienced during the past 7 years. And so it's not a perfect truth, not at all. It's just different perspectives on how you can perceive life and how life actually works. And it's my invitation to you all to just be open to the message, sense within how it feels, sense also where there's some resistance about a certain message. Just keep exploring, be open about your resistance, ask questions, and find your own truth, because that's what it's all about. You need to find that what works for you, but it's a challenge to be completely honest with yourself. And that takes time, and that takes effort and dedication and a certain commitment. So that's the other reason why it became 99 days, because I experienced that this daily commitment to yourself, to get through the deeper layers and to reflect upon yourself, and to really look at what life shows you and what it tells about you, and how you relate to people, how you relate to your work, your life, your relationship, anyone around you, even the strangers at the street. What does it all tell you? How do you react to it? How do you feel about it? And if you change that perspective on yourself, or if you become more aware of yourself in how you react, you will notice that you will clear things within along the journey, along the way. And that's what really is liberating. And it takes effort to clear that. And we will get into these different phases of the process in more depth during those 99 days. But in general, you will feel lighter. And life is just more fun. And actually, it's more pure. I think that's a better way of saying it. It really feels for me like I'm fully living. So I used to be able to, in the past, to hide myself, to not show myself, to not really be there and not really be present, just stay in the observation state, pretending to have fun, but not really having fun. But also not ignoring pains, feeling it, but didn't really know how to deal with it, didn't know really what it meant. And now I can just embrace all aspects of it. So this is not about becoming completely happy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is also about just being able to play with life. And that can get really intense, because, and I will talk about frequencies in a minute, but as soon as your frequency rises, more information comes in, and you deal differently with things that happen in the world. Anyway, all different things I will touch upon later, and I see still people coming in. Welcome. Hmm. It really is amazing. Yeah, that quite some people want to join in this first round, which I promoted as my test round. Um, and that feels really amazing. Thanks for your trust to me, but most of all, thank yourself for opening up to these 99 days and having this commitment with yourself. And I sincerely hope we're going to also have fun together by sharing things, trying to make it a little bit lighter if things get tough, or at least help each other, be there for each other. And that's why it's so worthwhile to work in a group on topics like this and on processes like this, because you will notice that during the 99 days you will go through the same kind of phases, kind of like you connect to each other as a group, and at the same time it's also part of, because of the topics that come up, but you will experience similar things, and it helps if you recognize processes with another person and you feel less insecure or alone in these processes. So before I go into this overview, I mentioned earlier that I'm going to give a very rough overview of topics I might touch upon, and the bigger outline of how I experience life and how I see things happening is I would like to ask you to set an intention for yourself for this program. What is it you would like to get out of it? What is it that would really make you happy or fulfilled or relieved or liberated after these 99 days? And also become aware of where your resistance is right now, or are there any fears coming up that you might think like, oh, I do feel a little bit challenged already, but I know I want to go through this challenge. Just keep these notes for yourself. For me, for instance, these 99 days, my intention will be to stay as completely free and open and vulnerable and humble as well, and just share as much as possible. And I know I can share the most if I feel really free and safe with this role I'm in right now. So talking to you for 30 minutes or 45 minutes. And that's for me is a challenge, because I know I'm afraid of making mistakes. So I'm afraid of not knowing something, or there's still this little lack beliefs within me that came up only 2 hours ago when the time to start this program got closer. And I really wish for myself to just go through that and be able to share the best of me, because if I can be completely free and open and completely in alignment with myself, and I will explain all these terminology later, then I can be of completely service to you all, because information will come through differently. So this first session is really like an introduction, getting used for myself to talking to myself. So that's how it feels. I know the people on the other side, but still feels like it's talking to myself. And well, getting used to this way of sharing things. And the other thing why I'm so really excited about being able to do this for 99 days, even though it scares me a little, is because I've been often asked over the past 7 years while I was on this journey, and people saw changes within me, and they asked, what have you been doing? What's happening? Can you share? And what does it bring you? And how does it work? And I always noticed that I started from some angle I was really excited about in that moment, but I never got to be able to tell the whole picture, because there's so much to share. There have been so many insights. Life to me is so different than it was 7 years ago. There's so much more understanding of how things work. There's so much more experience and a complete different embodiment how things work. And it's impossible to share that in a few words or in a few sentences. So now I have created for myself a platform, a possibility to share that 99 days long, which is quite long, but still I'm very excited because it feels like, it feels like a real honor to share this. It has brought me a lot, and I can only help this world if I can share things like this, because whatever you take out of it, I hope at least it will help you. And if it will help you, you will help others. And I love this ripple effect. So for that reason, the online availability nowadays, to be able to reach so many people, is, I think, at the same time, a platform we should use most, because it just goes faster. So I already said before that whatever I'm sharing, they're perspectives, so they're no truths. And please resonate, take in what resonates for you. But don't ignore it from the first sentence. Just try to stay open and listen to it again if you don't really get it. And there might be a lot of repetition. Not there might be, there will be a lot of repetition in these 99 days. And that's also functional. Because sometimes a new message must be heard many, many times before you finally hear the message. And you will only hear the message when you're ready to hear the message. So surrender a little bit into these 99 days with an open mind, some excitement, hopefully. And we'll be fine. Great. So I made an overview on this. Oh dear. How are we going to do this? Can you read this? No. Let me change a little bit. Okay. I'm going to put a picture on this overview in the group, because you might not be able to read it. Neither is my handwriting very clear. Once again, if you do want to make a comment or cannot hear me or you cannot see this, please write it down in the chat box so I can react to that. Okay? So this overview actually is a spiral going up. And this spiral goes up because it's about frequencies. And I'm going to tell you first a little bit more about frequencies. Everything, and we all as humans, exist of energy. And actually almost all material exists of practically 99% of energy. And we'll dive into that, the aspect of energy, in one of the other days. But there is a difference in frequency within our system. And that frequency is what you feel when you sense someone else. And you might have ever come across when you entered a meeting in the office and you sense like this tension within the room, or you met a person or a friend and you thought like, he feels a little bit different today. Then you feel this person's frequencies. And if we feel really happy and light, or we've fallen in love, our frequency is really high. And people can tell that, because they say like, wow, you look really happy and cheerful and you feel light. And they react to that frequency, and they like smiling to someone, they smile you back at you. So that's a higher frequency. And this frequency is not just by what you express, but it's in complete, it's completely within all of your system, your whole body. So it's not just acting happily and then your frequency is happy. No, you really have to feel happy. You really have to be happy at that moment for another person to feel that higher frequency. And the same obviously counts for lower frequencies. So this overview is not complete, not at all. There are many, many different words, topics I already thought about while I was writing this down this afternoon, because I thought like, well, let's give some overview so you have an idea what we're going to talk about. But it gives you roughly an idea what's happening within our system, as humans. So at the bottom, it says separation. And then you go up and it gets higher and higher in frequency. So the feeling also gets different. So separation creates kind of feelings like loneliness and fear. And you will feel you are projecting things on others and you feel judgmental to others. Then it goes up and up. And then you connect when you live more from your heart, or you at that moment live more from your heart. You'll have different feelings towards other people. You can be more empathic, to other people. You care more for other people, and so on and so on. And it's not the idea that you are all like only in the lower frequencies or only in the higher frequencies. You constantly switch between frequencies depending on what's happening during the day. And the goal is to be in the higher frequency as much as possible. And for that, you need to be connected to your core essence, and that's presence, being really present in the moment. And that's our biggest challenge as human, because that's not what we learned to be. So we are way more in our mind than really present in the moment. And we let our mind guide our life more than our presence guides our life. And actually, the beauty is it's actually the other way around. And that takes practice to really get into this present state 24 hours a day. And that's really, really a huge challenge. The pure enlightened people on this planet can be there 24/7, 7 days a week. That's not the case for me. But I'm always connected to my inner presence, my core essence, somehow. And it's not always that I'm in the high frequency, but because I know this core presence underneath is there, that which gives me a solidness, a peacefulness, that making that connection with my core essence practically all day is really what has changed my life fundamentally. So that's actually the core essence of what I would like to give you during these 99 days. And it's up to you to practice it, because it doesn't happen overnight. We haven't learned how to sense. So one of the topics here is also about sensing and embodiment, because we just haven't been taught, especially in Western countries. We have been taught to think and to be something, and to become successful, and to do well at school, but that's all cognitive thinking. And we've lost actually the sense with our heart. And we ask, well, barely ever, like, how does it feel to you? What, especially when they're little children, we try to compliment their results and their efforts on practical things, and the real sensing things are not so promoted and not so confirmed. So we lost that along the way, and it's not difficult to get back, because the beauty is you are always present. You're just not always aware of it. So what is actually needs to be done is get the layers out of the way, make the veil thinner, so that you sense it, and that takes sometimes a little time, or you might be lucky and you're there like this in a quick second, which is possible because it's there already. And we will do practices with that. So on the other side, I've just more on the outer sides actually. I've just named a few topics which more like how it appears in life. So like when you're really in the lower frequencies, you show like a victim behavior, or you get into conflict or anger behavior. A lot of defense mechanisms coming up when you're in the lower frequencies, because you don't want to be vulnerable. You don't want to. You want to hide that pain. You want to hide your fears. You want to hide your insecurities. You don't really know what's happening when you're unaware. So you get into defense mode. A very important topic during these 99 days. We're extremely good in rationalizing things when things get tough. We think like, oh well, it's all right. I mean, of course, I will do this myself because that's what I'm used to. Instead of saying like, oh, I don't really want that because it doesn't feel right to me. So we easily rationalize. Every sentence that has a but in it, like, but I think this, or but it must be like this, is often rationalizing. So this is also one we really touch upon. The control enforcing activities or actions, behavior, is a very strong one. It's a very huge challenge for us to let go of control, because that immediately brings up fear, core fear of not being able to accomplish what you asked yourself or what other people asked of you. So we almost all just come from a space of control in doing things in life. And also there's the paradox, just letting go of control is actually when life really happens and flows with you. And then you get really into this state, like flow and synchronicity, and things just happen beautifully. I have a few examples in my life where I could never have imagined that to happen. I could never have arranged that to happen. But because I was fully aligned on it and fully aligned with my intuition and with, I was sure that was going to happen. There was no doubt that was going to happen. It happened. Not exactly in the way I thought it would happen, but it happened. Looking back at it, I already was convinced it would happen. What other things we're going to talk about? The fact of multiple perspectives is a very, very liberating thing. My arm gets a little tired. I have to think about this one, how to do this. So multiple perspective is liberating, because as soon as you understand that the fact that you yourself are often in the way, the fact that you want to be right, the fact that you want to make a point, the fact that you want to be heard in your opinion, is why you get blindfolded for other options and other perspectives. And whereas the other perspectives can be actually your way out, and your openness to change or to see it from a different way. And once you learn that and play with that, it's for relations, it's perfect. For your job, it will be very liberating. I think all leaders should have this quality at the first level, to be able to look from multiple perspective side, because then they can really use the knowledge within a company for the benefit of the company, instead of just pushing their opinion and their ideas. So multiple perspective is a really valuable thing to look at, because it actually almost kind of relates to being very judgmental and very narrow-minded about what is happening actually, and what the question is, or the solution to questions. What else will I touch upon now? Well, in the end, if we go, I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to put this down, the core challenge of humans in general is the feeling of being separated. So our whole behavior, our whole thinking comes from the fact that we feel separated from each other. And the actual truth, if I may use the word truth, is the actually opposite, because we're completely connected. We're all one. But from your mind, where you think and feel, and where your thoughts appear, and that leads to a feeling, and that leads to an action, from that space of your mind, it doesn't feel that way, because there's a lot of, during the year, you've experienced a lot of pains, little traumas, negative experiences, and you build up a whole image about yourself, a whole identity about yourself, which you constantly need to defend. And that defense, it's almost like building a wall around yourself, is that you literally separate yourself from others. So you get into opposite position towards the other persons around you, very unconsciously. But just think upon this in the next few days, like how this feels to you, whether you feel really connected to all from a heart-based level, or you feel like, no, we're all separate beings. I really see the other person as a different one. And the moment where I think you all might recognize this is when you really fall in love, and these first weeks, months of being fully in love, you feel like this oneness with the other person, like your frequency is high, and you feel actually no limits. You have less lack beliefs. You think you can conquer the world. You feel really empowered, and you feel really connected with this other person, and it feels almost as one. But that same oneness is actually what we all are, but we just have ourselves, our mind got in the way, and our defense mechanisms have built a wall around us, why we cannot connect so deeply with each other. So on the opposite side, on the top, I've put it down connected or unity, which is one of the highest frequencies. Then just everything becomes one. It doesn't matter whether it's humans, whether it's tree, plants, animals, it doesn't really matter what it is, just everything feels as one. There's no identity of you getting in the way of life. That doesn't mean that you cannot live and act and behave like a normal human being in this world. You can, you still do. But it comes from a very different state of being. And like I said before, that's not for me 100% the case all the time. But being able to touch upon that is well, very enriching, or is it enriching, is that English? Well, it's very blissful and feels very grateful to be able to do that. And sometimes I need some more time for myself, or I'm in a certain environment where there's a lot of beauty around me, where it suddenly overwhelms me, and it just feels like being all one, and everything is just pure bliss at that moment. So yes. So this overview is just a rough outline of topics we will share with each other. And I will try to keep it a little bit structured. But please give some comments if I get all over the place and become very chaotic, because it's like this challenge of balancing, letting everything come freely from within, or whatever the information comes from, as well as just giving you some structure, because I know it helps for the human and for you all to have some structure. There's one more topic which will be very, very dominant, and it's interesting that I forgot this topic, and that's the mind and our thought patterns. That all creates actually our feelings and our actions, and actually creates life. And that's a topic which is really, really interesting and fascinating to explore. And at the same time, very challenging, because our mind is very dominant and our thought patterns are very dominant. And that topic has brought me the most enlightenment, I think, in the past 7 years, to really notice and being able to observe my own thought patterns. And I still can get caught up in my stories and really drop down in low frequencies, because it really gets very pure now and very intense. But I can also see it happening. I can also observe myself, actually falling down into these lower frequencies and feeling really awful and angry or frustrated or insecure or fearful. And then the next day it's relieved and it's gone. And these are just all old patterns that come up because I get triggered. And we all get triggered. So trigger is another huge topic we will touch upon, because that's actually what causes stress in your life and what brings you to lower frequencies. So I am, it's 35 minutes already. So for the next days, my idea is that I just want to touch upon one of the words upon this overview and just get really into depth with one of these topics, give you examples of daily life experiences, of how it comes across, how you can recognize it. And so we will go with that through the whole list. And there will be repetition, like I said before. So it won't be one day a new subject. It can be a few days the same subject. And I will, if you share in the group, I will see what's most apparent in your experiences. And of course, I will take that into these calls as well. Okay. Well, it feels like I'm wrapping up for now, for this first time. Practically, I think it might be helpful if you subscribe to this YouTube channel of me, because you probably then get the notifications when I'm live. So you have subscribe red button, I think it is. But I also will keep the link in our group. So if you use the same link as you did before, you will always see this live version of me. And you can see the replays as well in the same link. So thank you all for today. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock, if I'm right, in the evening. And I wish you all a great night. Sleep well and talk to you tomorrow. Ciao.